Alhamdulillah wa salatu wa salam ala nabiyyina Muhammad wa ala alihi wa sahbihi wa sallam. Amma ba'da fillah. A question was asked. Assalamu alaikum. There's a group called the Jamaat Tableegh. They go sleep in the masjid once a week, and every month they go 3 days of Kharooj giving da'wah to that locality. Every year for 40 days doing the same, going around knocking on people's houses and giving dawah for that locality. Once in their life, they go for 4 months to India or Pakistan for Kharooj. Is it an innovation to go Kharooj with this group? They have the strongest dawah in our locality as changing youth and guiding others back to the religion. So, first and foremost, I would say, and may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala reward you and bless us all with ilm nafi, rizqan tayyib wa amalan mutaqabbilan, is I would say that first look at the countless refutations from Ahl Sunnah. Go to the websites, Salafi websites, that detail intricately the beliefs of Jamaat Tableegh and where their origins came from. There's so much that's translated into English, and if you are Urdu speaking, I know the ulama of Ahl Sunnah in Pakistan and India have definitely dealt with this hands-on and dealt with their scholars. So I would say, first and foremost, do your investigation there. Secondly, I will say definitely don't go. Do not go. And so do the first investigation in order to get the details, because this is not a time for a big refutation of Jamaat Tableegh and talking about their origins from Muhammad Ilyas and the others, and there's the Sufi Turk that he was that he had in the Deobandi movement and otherwise. So this is not the time and the place to go into the many masail as far as their history and so on and so forth, and the bid'ah of Kharooj. Now, I think what's more important, as you said, they have the strongest dawah in our locality as changing youth and guiding others back to the religion. So there's many youth who have been guided around the world to come back and pray, which is khair. This is khair. And giving dawah is khair. But the problem is, one of the problems is their usul, their foundation. Their foundation of what they call, for one of the things that is well known for the Jamaat is that they they give their bayat after salat, and part of their pillars, yes, they have a pillar of tawheed, but it only really focuses on rububiyyah, the lordship of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Allah created everything. He's al khaliq, He's al razik, He's a provider and sustainer. Walillah alhamd, hada ni'ma min ni'amillah. This is a great blessing to call to this. But then what about the other important aspects of tawheed? And why is this important? Are we just nitpicking something? No. Because as our Sheikh, Imam Muqbil bin Hadi al-Wadi'i mentioned, he said when he was talking about Jamaat Tableegh in one of his books, I think it's Makhraj, his book called Makhraj al-Fitna, or Min al-Fitna, and he said you'll find one of them, and this is in the Arab world, so these are people who know the Arabic language and they have even more access to the divine sources because of that key of Arabic. And so he said, you'll find one from amongst them who's been making Kharooj for 20 years, but still going to the graves and supplicating to dead saints. And this is true. This wasn't something he made up. So this is something that they witness amongst Yemeni Jamaat Tableegh and others. So the point being is that because they focus on just the lordship, as the Christians and probably the Jews and other faiths do, that they will just sit, you can sit in a gathering in a room with many people of different Christian denominations I can speak about, and Catholicism and stuff like this, and they'll sit and we could all agree and say, if I say, God is the one who provides everything. And they'll all say, yeah, that's thanks, praise be to God. Listen to the people who are athletes that are religious, the boxers and the MMA fighters and the other athletes, and they'll say, all thanks goes to God. And this is what the Muslim says, Alhamdulillah, all praise belongs to Allah. But the Muslim goes further, because the Muslim, in fact, shows the shukr by worshiping Allah alone. Because that's tahqiq tawheed. That is real, authentic tawheed. As the Prophet ﷺ said, حَقَّ اللَّهِ عَلَى عِبَادِهِ يَعْبُدُوهُ وَلَا يُشْرِكُوا بِشَيْءٍ. And the right of Allah over his servant is to worship him and him alone and not associate any partners with him. So you'll see that the Jamaat Tableegh, they will not emphasize that at all because they feel it's too controversial. Their point, like with Ikhwan Muslimin, is to get numbers, to get more people. So yes, they bring numbers to the masjid. And they have their Dar Ulum. They have guys who go, some people who get the opportunity, primarily, sometimes this is a race-based thing, that it's, Indians and Pakistanis mainly, that they'll get that opportunity to get the scholarships and go to Dar Ulum and study. So you'll see that one of the pillars of their da'wah is they will take the hadith of the Prophet ﷺ, balagha anni walau ayah. Speak about me even if it's an ayah. So this is haqq, hada kalimata haqq. And as the scholars mentioned, hada kalimata haqq yurida biha batil. That it's a truthful statement, but the intent behind it is really a distortion of its meaning, is falsehood. Why? Because Jamaat Tableegh, you see that they mostly don't emphasize da'wah. Ahlul Sunnah, on the other hand, emphasizes that you give da'wah, you get and gain knowledge before you speak. Imam Bukhari mentioned in his Sahih, what did he say? What was the name of the chapter? Bab al-ilm qabla al-qawli wal-amal. The chapter of knowledge precedes statements and actions. Jamaat Tableegh, a later day group which started, I think, probably in either the early 19th century or the late 18th century, with Muhammad Ilyas and others. They turn that principle up. They give da'wah without knowledge. They encourage, and I'll give you go to any Jamaat Tableegh gathering. You'll have so many people who haven't studied anything. And I'll tell you one of the things that it just embarrassed me, and they should feel shame and embarrassment. And it just affirmed for me their minhaj, because I've seen it hundreds of times in America. But I'll tell you a true story. I was in a masjid in the locality in Bellevue, Washington, well-known Tablighi center, okay? And they're Deobandi generally, but there's all kind of things mixed in there in the masjid. But it's a local masjid that was closer to where my mother stays, and when I would stay there, I would go pray in that masjid. And I recall one of the last times the Jamaat was there, Jamaat Tableegh, one of the guys got up. He was a new Muslim. So they said, my dear respected brothers, as they usually do, there's going to be a bayan after the salat, after the sunnans or something like this. So then right after salat, a guy gets up who's a new shahada, and he's given the bayan. So what is this? Instead of al-ilm qabla al-qawli wal-amal, here al-amal wal-qawl bila ilm. So they turn the principle upside down, which is well known and established from the book and the sunnah and the methodology of the salaf. So they begin, this poor new shahada, he gets up, my dear respected brothers, and he was nervous, and he was just destroying the deen in a sense, what he was saying. He didn't know what he was saying. And he was just talking about this and my sincere brothers and ikhlas and, and I don't know what I'm talking about, and making a mistake and just destroying what he was saying because he had no knowledge. He couldn't give you an ayat. He couldn't give you a hadith. He couldn't even give you general principles of the religion properly because he was new. So they allow for everyone to be a part of this da'wah. So the bottom line is, absolutely not. Do not go. As the ulama mentioned in countless fatawa and in countless books they've refuted, and I have a collection of books, and I hope to do some research in the future, a proper research, in clarifying their creed. Now, does that mean that they don't bring some good? Of course they bring some good. But is the harm greater than the good? That's the question we have to look at. And the bottom line is, it's innovated da'wah. There's so much innovation, so much religious innovation in it that absolutely you should have no musharaka, no sharing with it. Okay, and sharing with those brothers. If you have knowledge, you can invite them and call them to good. If they allow you to speak and you're a person of da'wah and you have knowledge, Okay, let me read the hadith of Riyadh Salihin today, and I'm going to give you some fawaid from the ulama of Ahl Sunnah. Okay? And I'm maybe going to speak about some things that you're going to feel a little uncomfortable about because it's going to rock the boat of the Jama'ah. So this is the point of Habitatillah, is to avoid it, and we ask Allah the Almighty to accept our good and forgive our evil. Wa sallallahu wa sallam ala nabiyyina Muhammad.